Hello and welcome to the latest episode of Cross Button VR. I'm Alex, not Laurie. He's disappeared again. Can't 3 weeks in a row was far too much for him. But I am once again joined by Reece. Hello, how are you?
Hello there. I'm doing really well. How you doing?
I'm alright. Surviving. We're now halfway through the summer more than halfway through the summer holidays.
Oh,
Up here. Yeah, so it's I know the English ones have just started, but we're surviving in Scotland. It's a challenge, but we're getting there.
Good.
This is Cross Button VR, your weekly place for all good things, all things VR. Not always good, most of the time good, but so we are going to take you through the latest news, what we've been playing, maybe a little fun game, but get straight into the news.
Sounds good to me. Let's do that.
Yes. Hot off the press today, there has been a fire sale on PSVR2 here in the UK. Fire sale's putting it a wee bit, maybe been a wee bit dramatic, but what, 200 quid off a PSVR2 if you went to Smith's? Yeah. Just under that in Amazon. So you're talking, what, between 330 and 350, the cheapest it's ever been?
Yeah, I think it's like 360 or something, 370 with the Horizon bundle as well, which I thought was quite nice because you don't ever see that game go on sale either. So if you do want a game that you don't have, then that's also a good introduction to it. But yeah, no, cheapest it's been off with actual money going off of it, as opposed to like a little bit of a discount for like Netflix, like they did with the days of play. So yeah, no, really good.
And I suppose it's coming at the perfect time. I mean, I don't think it's a coincidence that we're a week and a half away from the PSVR2, or say it's just about a week actually from the PSVR2 launching.
Yeah, is it 6th of August?
PC? 5th, I think.
I think Tuesday, 6th of August.
6th of August. Yeah. So, I don't think it's coincidence that they have reduced it now. I think it's a perfect time to try and get PC gamers to go and see this as the headset of choice to go to PC. And I suppose that kind of leads directly into the next bit of news from this week is the Steam app is launched for the PSVR 2 to be able to make it compatible, set it up, etc., etc. It's now on the Steam store for launch on the 6th, as you just said.
Yes.
So we're getting there. I mean, you still can't order the adapter to be able to play it.
Yeah,
which is bizarre.
Why can't I pre-order it? I want it on my door on the day of release. I don't want to kind of like just see it pop up out of nowhere and I've got to run to a shop. I kind of want it ready here on the day. So a bit disappointed that there's no pre-orders, nothing to kind of engage that, pushed for people to do it. And I'm surprised well from Sony's perspective because they do usually do that kind of to obviously gauge the amount of interest in the sales and things like that. So I'm a bit shocked that they haven't done anything like that yet. And I think it would be a good instigator for them to do.
No, I completely agree. I mean, you can pre-order a Concord-themed DualSense controller, but you still can't order
controller.
It is a nice controller. Shame about the game, but it is a nice controller. But you can order something that's coming in a week, which just feels bizarre at this stage, and something that I think the PSVR 2 really needs, and something that needs to land well. They should be promoting a lot more. I think it would have been very good. Like, here, PSVR 2 is coming to PC. Let's promote it. This is a sale for you. And it just feels like, where did this sale come from? Why is there suddenly randomly this money off? There's no promotion alongside it. Like, it's bizarre.
I've seen some like weird speculations, but again, it's only that. There's not been any kind of official statement from Sony. Some people have said because it's all only not random website, it's all retailers and not Sony, because it's not. Is it actually on sale on
it's
Sony?
Not on sale on Sony, no.
Yeah, so a lot of people said maybe it's an overflow of stock in certain places and they need to shift them out. But then again, what's the likelihood that all these big retailers in the UK are going to have an overflow of stock when we just had a similar sale with the days of play and some of them were doing a little bit of a discount as well? I mean, it's not saying that it isn't going to be an overflow of stock because it's only every kind of few weeks I see someone pop up on Twitter and go, I've just picked up a PSVR 2, which every time I see one of them, I'm so happy. Like any VR headset someone grabs, I just get excited for them to kind of experience that, especially when it's their first VR headset.
Yeah.
But we haven't really seen much in that terms of things. But I do think it is more so for retailers to shift off their stock in preparation for the PC VR adapter. And I think it's probably something Sony is directly, asked retailers to do. Because otherwise, if it was retailer specific, you'd have different prices at different retailers so they can compete, but they're all similar price. So it's obviously, I feel like it's something come from the top. Either way, whatever the reason, it's a bloody good price. Like, it's a really good price for the headset. Obviously, we don't know how it's going to play on PC VR. We don't know if there's going to be issues with it or anything like that, because obviously it's running off an app. You don't know what's going to happen with that. Is it going to work properly? Is it going to...
Yeah.
So you can't really just go, it's going to be the best PC VR headset at the price, because no one's tested the PC VR side of it yet. It might have like 3 weeks of issues. I'm not saying it will, but I'm not saying it won't either. And that's just me just being someone who likes to test stuff prior to going, this is great. But either way, it's exciting.
And it has also kind of, with the launch of the app and some of the screenshots, it's created some interesting conversations for a lot of people not realising that you might need Bluetooth for the controllers, which it's been funny. Like, yeah,
I think it's something a lot of people disregarded, because when you look at Quest, it's obviously a mobile device, so the controllers are just Bluetooth to the headset. And when you use it on PC, they do exactly the same. They Bluetooth to the headset. So you kind of disregard that factor. And then again, it's like with other headsets, I think because a lot of people use Quest on PC, like when you look at other headsets, you go, oh, yeah, that'll work fine. And you kind of disregard that factor that some of these other controllers out there will need to connect to the PC through Bluetooth. So a lot of people, like you said, even in Discord, a lot of people are like, oh, we're gonna have to buy a Bluetooth adapter now. I was like, oh, where did it say? You look at it, it's like, oh yes, it's Bluetooth. And they're all talking about Bluetooth adapters. That same day, I was like scrolling through my PC specs, like, yep, it has Bluetooth. That's good. So it's like I found it very funny that everybody was like, piping up about that as well. But again, I think it's good.
No, just because it does make me wonder, because you do need the Bluetooth via the PC rather than Bluetooth via the headset. And I suppose you're wanting to connect to the PCs. It's like connecting a controller to the PC, but it does almost concern me how well it's all going to work. Like,
and I get where you're going there, because obviously some older motherboards that will have Bluetooth may have the older version of Bluetooth, whereas like newer, you got Bluetooth 5 and you got the previous ones before that. So if you've got an older motherboard that may still, have, a decent CPU and the graphics card to play PC VR, you may have a lower spec Bluetooth on it. I'm not saying you necessarily will, but it's not out of the realms of impossibility of how PC builds can go. So it's kind of one of them things, obviously, depending on, because a lot of people, when they upgrade their PC, they don't always upgrade their motherboard. If they've got the components, they just go for the graphics card, the RAM, and then maybe change the CPU and keep the motherboard if it's still got all the components they need. Because, yeah, it's there. You don't need to always take it out of you just upgrading. So there is always that concern that you may have a lower spec Bluetooth. And then that also kind of, me and you were saying, well, you actually raised it, and I thought it was a really good point, is will there be any kind of latency with the controllers because of an older version of Bluetooth you have, or will there be any of that just in general? So it is, again, there's that side of it to think of. I'm hoping there won't be.
Hopefully not. Hopefully not.
See, it always goes back to me with PSVR2, and I'm going to raise it again because it's something everybody should be raising constantly. There's no spare controllers, and the problem with the PSVR2 is them controllers last about an hour and a half. So if you're playing PC VR, you're only getting an hour and a half on it. And then there's people that joke about the Quest only lasting an hour and a half. Well, that's fine. If I'm using it on PC, at least my controllers don't run out. And I'm not saying that this is a good or a bad thing for either headset. I'm just generally saying that the PSVR2 controller batteries are not that great. They don't last long enough for a session that I would be playing on PC VR. So then that's also my other concerns. I'm hoping they kind of just pull their finger out and go, hey, we're releasing controllers too. Because I'll be like, sweet, I'm going to pick that up. I mean, saying that, I do have a spare PSVR2 headset, so I do have spare controllers, but the point still stands that that's just kind of sitting in a box. I didn't really want to take that back out of the box to use it just for spare controllers. You know what I mean? It's not really something I want to do. But
I mean, that is going to extremes to get a spare set of controllers, to be fair.
It is, yeah. I mean, I only got it because the missus wanted to sell her PSVR2, and I was like, I'll take it off your hands for now, and yeah, my plan was to sell it, but it's just kind of sat in the box for now because of all these sales keep popping up. Stop
Please
popping up these sales.
Just for Reece, thanks.
Yeah, so I can get a decent price for it used, because otherwise I can't. And I'll just use the controller and just leave it as a dedicated PC VR headset. But yeah, hopefully new controllers as well at some point with an upgraded battery, because they did that with the motion controls. But it's up to them what they want to do. But either way, I'm still really happy that it's finally coming to PC. And yeah, you'll hear our thoughts on it because me and Alex will both be checking it out. Hopefully on release at some point around that time. So yeah, you'll be hearing what we think of PC VR and comparing it to the Quest side of stuff as well. Maybe a look at what we think might be the better headset for PC VR if you're choosing between two of them.
Yes. Hopefully on release day, as you say, but it depends if we're ever able to order it. But speaking of PC VR, that takes us on to our next story. So it's kind of in two parts. The first part is Into the Radius 2 has entered early access on PC VR, but interestingly, roughly at the same time, PSVR2 trophies for Into the Radius appeared on True Trophies or PSN profiles or some back end that's showing the trophies for these games. We haven't had any confirmation of when this is coming, but we have had a statement which basically said from the developer that the trophy information is correct and further announcements will be made in the summer. So the game is coming to PSVR2, but we don't know when. So this is a game that you are quite excited to see it come to PSVR2, Reece, isn't it?
Definitely. Into the Radius is one of the best first-person shooters out there from a solo perspective, where it has like a story built into the game, but it's more of a story that you find in lore as opposed to dialogue being expressed to you by various characters. The intricacy as well of managing your weapons, having to go out on these raids, then come back and you have to clean your weapon from literally using like a little bit of tissue and one of these long sticks to clean the inside of the barrel. And then you have to like scrape off all the dirt on the gun as well and get it back to its actual restorative factor, so it's a valid gun, so it doesn't jam and get issues. So I always found that such a cool thing in VR because it's not something a lot of games do. Is this weapon management, because it's quite an in-depth thing, and you don't really need it. But at the same point, when it's there, you're like, "Wow, this is amazing." It's also one of them games as well where you individually have to put bullets into your magazines. So if you do drop a magazine, you kind of don't want to throw the magazine away. You want to keep it. You want to kind of refill the magazine with the shells you find. So it kind of adds that extra layer of, having to hunt for everything, even just single bullets, which if you're somebody who likes looking up and down, high and low for all these things that you can find in a world, you're going to love this side of it. And it has that similar inventory management as like Ghost of Tabor, where you have to kind of line everything up yourself and make sure it fits inside the actual backpack. Otherwise, it'll be like, oh, sorry, you can't fit that in there anymore. It's also weight, and it's really cool. Like it's one of the games I picked up on Quest. I played it there first, and I was like, this is awesome. Like, and I had no issues with it. Found it great. I thought it ran really well, especially for like it always goes back to this being on a mobile device. How is this working? And I say mobile, not as in like mobile, but it's a mobile chipset. But it's kind of like, how is this working? And it blew me away. And then obviously when PC VR came out, I noticed, because obviously I've bought it on Quest, I could download it for free. So I tried it on there, and I was like, oh, this looks great. Like it's just just every time PC VR, and I load up a game, and I just go, this is great. Like blows my mind every time. So yeah, Into the Radius 1 is a very good game. There's missions as well. It's not just about you going out and doing nothing to fight. There's missions, and you have to retrieve things, and then there's enemies as well. And yeah, it's kind of like a very weird game in the sense of how the enemies are, how they attack you, how they look. It's not like this big, it's kind of hard to describe. There's like fragments as well, which are people, and you can kind of break them, and you'll hear things as well as you break them. There's anomalies and all that kind of stuff. So it's very lore driven, and I think a lot of people enjoy this game, and it's one that I recommend to everyone when they pick up a Quest. Like, you got to get Into the Radius if you like FPS games. You have to. It just makes sense. So yeah, and then obviously, like you said, Into the Radius 2 just dropped in early access, and I played it the other day, streamed a little bit. You was watching me, and
I was.
Yeah, it was just wow. Yeah, again, it's another one where it's just wow. It looks a lot better. It looks a little bit more crisper than the original version. I say the original version has a bit more of a grit look to it, like there's like dust on your in your eyes kind of thing. They've kind of done away with that, which, well, I liked it. Both look really good. They've not put the gun cleaning stuff in it at the moment. That's all out at the moment in early access. So there is some things missing, but they're going to be adding it over time because obviously early access. But the core mechanics, managing your backpack, everything like that is still similar from the first game. it just looks a lot better. The levels seem a lot bigger, and yeah, it just they've done it again. Like walking around this game, it has that addictive loop. It has some frustration to it. Like I kept getting bounced around by the anomalies while I was playing it, and I could bounce off one into another one like a ping pong ball. But no, it was still very fun, and just yeah, I can't wait to see what they do with this through the early access stage, because yeah, even talking about it now, it just makes me want to go play it again. And it's something I've been wanting to jump back into since playing it the other day.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed watching you playing this, and you could see the kind of level of suspense in there as the little thing with legs was attacking. You know, like, is it a spider? Please be a spider. That'd be funny if it's a spider. Or like,
it's anything, anything with legs, isn't it? I don't think it's spiders. It's anything with more than 2 legs. It just triggers me in VR. So again, I might have to edit that plea that I made about devs putting spiders in the game. Just don't put anything with more than 4 or 5 legs. Yeah, like I can deal with dogs and things like that. So, but yeah, no, we got to check out the multiplayer side of it definitely, because I think. Go on.
I was just going to say the plan hopefully is we will stream this in multiplayer, which could be amusing because I'm not the best at first person shooter games anyway, but I think it could give you a little bit of amusement. I think you might laugh fairly well at this if we do manage to stream it, but I'm looking forward to trying it. Yeah, it looks premium. I think that was the thing from when you were streaming it. It does look good and it looks crisp, as you say, and I think it looks very intricate, and I can see how that whole, I know a lot of people don't like the individual shells into magazines and all that, but from the type of game that it is to create that suspense and the kind of survival element of it, it really works. Well, that's certainly the impression that I took. So,
and obviously, as you saw as well while I was doing it, because obviously you get a box of bullets and you can open the box and you can just shake that into the magazine. You don't have to individually take each one out and put it in the gun. You can if you want. There is ways to kind of cheese it or just make it quick while you're on the go, because you'll have your 2 magazines in front of you depending on which vest you get, because you can get different vests and things like that. So there is that kind of way to, I say cheese it, but it's more of just using the mechanics of the game to the best of your ability while being out in the field, because you don't want to get caught in the middle of getting shot at and you're having to singly put each bullet into your gun as you're just getting sprayed up, because that won't be fun for anyone.
No.
But no, I'm really excited to play this in multiplayer. So yes, please, Alex, get ready.
Yes, we will do it.
Sounds good.
From something serious to something a little less serious. So what appeared on the PlayStation Store this week coming to PSVR2, I don't think there's still yet to see any sort of official announcement, but it's there on the store to wish list, is I Am Cat.
I feel like they did put out a post.
I don't remember seeing anything, but they might have just missed it, but it is there and you can wish list it. So I Am Cat has come into PSVR2, much to many people's displeasure.
I've many
people, there's as much displeasure as there is pleasure. I would say it's very divisive. One that you liked, and not so much you did. So there are devices amongst us to begin with. So
yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it because I think it's quite a fun game in the sense of what you can do. But again, I also think it's one of them games where I do turn around and say, this is a quest game. Not because of how it looks, but because it's not something I'd find myself playing for more than 2 hours. So when I play a game for more than 2 hours, I usually find myself doing it on PCVR or PSVR2, because otherwise, even though I've got a battery pack, it doesn't run out in 2 hours. I just feel like I prefer
it's a psychological thing almost, isn't it?
Yeah, it's almost like, even though you've got that battery thing, that it's a wireless headset, it's going to run out eventually. I don't know. So, I mean, at the same point, I don't think it's something I would play on PSVR2 and Steam. I mean, don't get me wrong, I will definitely try it out, because it's what we do. We try out these games and let you know what we think. So I'll definitely try it out. And yeah, I did have fun with it on the Quest. I enjoyed just acting like a cat. I mean, I'm a person with cats, so I mean, playing a game
crazy cat man.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, playing a game where you can kind of be a cat and just knock things off to annoy your owner. It was funny, and there is various missions, and I believe they've got more updates coming as well. Because again, this is a game that's early access; it's not a full release, so I don't know how far off the release is for PlayStation, because we all know that Sony doesn't usually allow early access games on there. But unless they say, oh, this is the 1.0 version and we're now publishing it, kind of thing. So, yeah, I had fun with it. It's not something I play for any more longer than 30 minutes to an hour, but it was quite funny at the time. I haven't played it again for a good few weeks, to be fair.
I played it once, and that was more than enough for me. Like, it's, I can understand. Like, I can understand where the fun comes from it for some people, but it's 5 minutes of fun. I just don't feel like there's enough there to make it any more than that for me. But people like cats. That's just one of those things. I mean, I don't understand why people like cats, but they do.
You want to bring my cat in here and sit on my lap, and you can see why people like cats.
I mean, I can see enough of it as it is, so no, just leave it where it is. Thanks very much. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. I think it will probably blow up because it did when it released on Quest, and I think we're going to see the same when it comes to PSVR2. But time will tell. Time will tell. So, get it away. Get it away.
My door was shut, but that cat that just jumped up there is one that can open doors, so apologies for that.
Oh, well, it's
terrible.
There's 2 cats now. He's done this on purpose. He has. Anyway, moving on. The last piece of news for the week is the Meta announced that they're bringing their AI assistant to the Quest 3. Shared this with a video. It looked quite cool because it can see through the pass-through and stuff, and it can understand what's going on your screen. And I thought this could be interesting, because it's not. I think this is the first of the headsets to have it, isn't it? Because I don't think Apple has one yet either. Because Apple are a wee bit behind with AI.
Yeah,
you can talk to the PlayStation headset. There's no AI in it. It's just like.
Well, yeah, you were trying to talk to it the other day. It didn't really work, did it?
It did work.
PlayStation record video. Oh no, it did end up working, didn't it? Yeah. Yeah, no, it's not something that I've seen on any other headset, like especially not published and put out in a video like Meta did it.
Mm-hmm.
I found it a bit silly, obviously, as my response was with a video that I sent to you lot, which will probably never see the light of day because some platforms don't like swearing, but, maybe I'll throw it in here one day, throw it in, but, yeah, I don't know, like, it's one of the things where, like, I feel like in the video, it was pointless the way they displayed it because why do I need to know that it's a dog walking in front of me? And why do I need to ask my Quest where like an ice cream stand is or like a food place? I don't feel like that's ever anything I'm going to use my Quest for. Some might, because I know there is some people that do use their Quest to do different things. Like, I don't know, I've seen videos where people have used it. Again, I say videos that Meta have published. These are not videos I've seen actual real people doing it, but they're like, oh yeah, if you're working on a car, if you are working on a car with a Quest, then obviously you can go, oh, Meta, I need a new spark plug. Can you tell me what shop near me has stock? I suppose then that could all work, but
I need this one.
Yeah, how much are you going to use it? I suppose is the question. But then again, it's one of them things where it's like, if it's kind of like it's there if you need it, and as opposed to it not being there at all. And I suppose it's one thing I'm always really grateful with that Quest keep doing, is that they keep adding these features. And even though they might not be catered to me, there's going to be somebody out there that might like it. And it's like I said to you before, like with small games as well, if 5 people enjoy that game, that's 5 people feeling like they've been heard by the system they play on. So it's kind of one of them things, like I appreciate it, but I don't think it's anything I'm ever going to use.
No. I think it'd be interesting when it actually launches to see how useful it can be. I mean, I don't know how well it could use in-game. Like, say if you were like playing a game and you could talk to it to try and like say, right, well, I'm looking at this. What if you
ask questions about the game?
Ask questions about the game and stuff.
That could be quite interesting.
That could be quite interesting. But we'll see. I mean, as you say, the more features they bring in these things, the better. I know sometimes it can get a little bit too much, but you don't need to use it.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's one thing, like when you do go through the Quest settings, you notice all these different features, all these different things they have on this device, and you go, I don't use half of that. But at the same point, it absolutely blows my mind that this system has all these things, and it's, again, a mobile device, and it just constantly keeps updating their system. They keep pushing their system, as opposed to just leaving it as one thing and going, there you go, enjoy that. Enjoy that flat menu. You having fun with that?
Yeah.
PlayStation, I'm looking at you.
Yes. And I mean, that's something we have spoken about this week, and I know this is not news, but I think it's worth discussing. Like, I really feel like we're 18 months on from the launch of PSVR2, and yet you're still forced with this proper flat menu and no sort of custom UI for PSVR2, and you're like,
this is the
thing. Put a wee bit of effort in there.
This is the thing. A lot of players don't mention it as much, but a lot of them players that are going to go over to PCVR soon and use their PSVR2 on that, and they see the Steam VR menu that puts you in this big hub with this scenery that you can teleport to, and you can look at all these different things, and you go back to your screen and you can select your games from that screen. Don't get me wrong, you can do it from a flat menu as well, but you can see this hub and you can have all these different plushies and collectibles on your walls, and you can change it to all these different sceneries from other games like Half-Life Alyx. As soon as you see that, you're going to go to yourself, why haven't PlayStation done something like this? And just put all of these cool IPs around me that may not even be in VR, but hey, I'd love a Last of Us VR space for me just to select my games from and have cordyceps all around me. Do you know how much that would just feel great to me as a fan of that game? It'll kind of satisfy the urge of not having a Last of Us for now. Yes, I'd still prefer that, but yeah, I didn't really care about the flat menu on PSVR because it was like that on the PSVR 1 as well. So I was used to it. I wasn't expecting anything. But as soon as I tried out PCVR, I went back to PSVR 2 and just went, this menu is fucking boring. Like, this is just, give me something that makes me feel like I'm instantly in VR, not until I get to the game.
But I suppose it's not even just that. You say, like, obviously that didn't have that in PSVR 1, but there's still things in PSVR 1 that PSVR 2 doesn't have. Like a lot of the media side of things and more of the entertainment side of things. And it's just a bit like, why? Why have you not done this? Like, there's some easy wins that they've never taken advantage of.
They've not done the 3D movies yet, have they?
No, I don't think so.
Not. That was literally, I never had a 3D TV. I used to lay on my sofa and watch 3D movies in the PSVR 1. I went out and bought like a bulk load of used 3D movies just to watch. Some of them I didn't even want to see, but it was just fun. That was a great feature, and it was another capability of the headset that I wouldn't have used otherwise.
Yeah, well, maybe they'll eventually get their fingers out, but after the fire sale and lots of more people have the headsets, you never know. But I'm
the
not
doom and gloomers are going to say this is the death now. Basically, they're going to keep saying that. I'm still trying to remain optimistic. I always will, because I do like the headset. So I'm going to remain optimistic for the headset. But as before, I've always expressed that the headset is not the issue here.
No.
Like the specs of the headset is not the issue. No. So, but yeah, hopefully something soon.
Fingers crossed. Right, before we move on to what we've been playing, this episode once again is sponsored by Kiwi Design, who specialise in producing and designing accessories for MetaQuest. Whether it be cable management, controller grips, or battery head straps, they have you covered. You can support us and save a few pounds by heading over to kiwidesign.com or using the link in the description and entering the code CPVR at the checkout to get 5% off. And as we mentioned last week, they have released the new facial interface, and the new comfort head strap.
Yeah, both very good devices, both very good accessories.
Yes.
Yeah, I've been using them, so I like them. They're good. Although, like I said before, with the comfort head strap, I always prefer a battery thing because more time, please, on my headset. But no, for people that don't, it's great for anyone that wants to lay down and use their headset, because obviously Quest added that feature as well. Again, yes. one that I've never used. Actually, no, I did use it once when I tried out Pillow. I actually laid in my bed and played Pillow, and my whole ceiling opened up. And I'll tell you what, it was quite a surreal experience just to be laying in bed.
I still need to try that.
It's like I tried it once before on the sofa, and then I was like, no, this just doesn't have that effect. Like I laid back on the sofa like that, it just didn't work. So I went and laid in bed and tried it, and I was like, yeah, this is the way to play this game. Hence the name Pillow. It makes sense now. Yeah. But no, you can do it with head straps like that one. So, because obviously it doesn't have a bulky back. But continue. Yes.
So, what we've been playing. We've been playing quite a bit this week, Reece, haven't we? Where would you like to start?
I'll let you decide.
For goodness sake, I was letting you decide. Come on.
Okay, all right, okay. Let's start off with Wallace and Gromit. Walkabout Mini Golf. Let's talk about that, because for me, as someone who plays Walkabout Mini Golf with you majority of the time, because obviously not a lot of people jump on, and I don't have a lot of people I have people that play it, but when I ask, they're a bit busy. Whereas you're my go-to VR gamer. Yeah, makes sense being on a podcast together. Yeah.
We're VR besties, aren't we?
Yeah, exactly. So we went to play it, and I'm someone who doesn't get excited about Walkabout Mini Golf.
No, you don't.
Like everyone else does. A lot of people love Walkabout Mini Golf. I don't think it's a bad game. I think it's a good game. I think it's a very well-made game. But it's one that I don't get excited about. And that's not because of lack of content or lack of work on it. I do think it's a very good game. Just want to get that out there before somebody goes, he doesn't like Walkabout Mini Golf. That's not what I'm getting at here. But anytime there's a course announced, I just go, course, another Walkabout Mini Golf. More things for people to play. The Labyrinth one got me a bit excited to try out. But nothing, and I mean nothing on this game has ever got me excited other than this Wallace and Gromit course. Like, the weeks leading up to it, and you've seen my smile like a Cheshire cat every time, just like, oh, this is going to be awesome. I can't wait to see how they work into it. Are we going to go to the moon? Are we going to see the actual characters? How's this going to play out? I wish we had a video of us and how we sounded when we first loaded up this course. Like, literally, I must have sounded like this kid just entering a sweet shop that had everything. Like, I
genuinely don't think I have ever heard you so excited in a game.
No. And I think I described it to a similar way as how I sounded when I played the Spider-Man tech demo or the No Way Home demo on the PSVR1, where you got to play Spider-Man and swing around the town. Because it gave me that feeling of something that's never given me that experience before. It was like, a lifelong dream as a kid to become Spider-Man, and now I'm like in my 20s swinging around the town kind of thing. It was like, well, that was, at the time I was in my 20s. I ain't disclosing that. I got young, whatever age I was at the time, I genuinely can't remember, but I think it was around there. But anyway, the main point is, like, I literally was in a party chat with friends, and they all go, what the hell, why are you sounding like that? And I was like, I'm swinging around the town as Spider-Man. That is exactly how I sounded on this. I was like, oh my god, we're walking through Wallace and Gromit's house. This is the bit from this episode. Oh my god, it's the trousers. He's there reading the newspaper, and it was just like, why? Like, I don't see how excited someone can get about a course on a game that just, it brought so much nostalgia to these episodes. From the room, like, I mean, I think we talk about the course and go quite in depth. I think we have to. Like, from the minute you just start outside, and we were just like, oh, this looks great. And I didn't even want to golf at first. I just wanted to walk in, and I walked into the house, and I turned left, and I saw the penguin, the disguised chicken on the train, and I just lost my shit. Like, not in like an angry way. I was just so happy to see him on the train. I was like, it's the penguin, Alex. He's on the train. He was like, get back here, do the course. It's like, no, let me look around the house. And it was just so silly because, obviously, like I said, I don't get that excited about the Walkabout Mini Golf courses. And yeah, it was just, like, even thinking about it now, it's something just so crazy, like getting that excitement from this course. And yeah, we ended, after Alex forced me back to actually play the course like a normal civilized human being. We started doing that, and the further we got on, and then we saw Wallace in there as well, and he was like, "Oh, he talks if you wait a bit." And I was waiting there. I was like, "Oh, talk to me, Wallace." And every time you score, like, oh, that's cracking. Like, you get a terrible Wallace impression.
I think he just went to Wallace to become Irish, but
well, Wallace is Irish now, apologies. But anyways, he goes, "Oh, that's cracking." He says some of his famous quotes, and it was just, I don't know, like, it was just, it's so difficult to put into words these feelings that it made me feel, because obviously, like we said before, like, Wallace and Gromit is something that's just kind of like embedded into you as a child. When, like, your dad would have watched it, and he's like, "Oh, here, check out this one," and he whacks it on, and it's like, this is the Wallace and Gromit. You had I think it was like 5 episodes or something. One, it was nothing too big. Then they made the movies and that kind of stuff. So it's something that's kind of like been there through my childhood all the way up into being an adult. So, like, having this again, it's just one of them crazy feelings. But just going around this whole map, like, we were just absolutely bewildered with the course itself, the various gadgets, because that's obviously one thing we were saying a lot, and just the way some of it was done. It was great. But yeah, go on. What was yours on it? Because otherwise I'm going to just steal the show here, just talking about how much this made me feel like, like somebody who just walked into a sweet shop.
I mean, I can't disagree with you in any way. I mean, I think what I would say, like, this oozes love. Like, there's so much love, care and attention being paid to Wallace and Gromit, like, from all the little details. I think you would struggle to get into this game and have some sort of, if you have one reference for Wallace and Gromit for something that you remember, you'll probably find it like it is probably there. Like they've packed so much into the house, so many gadgets, so many like little, just the little details. Like, and I've never been so excited to find the balls in a course either, because you wanted to see what the balls were. You were so excited to see
That was the same
what the
as me.
balls were. Like, but it was even when we first realised like you could be Wallace and Gromit in the avatars, so we could pick to be Wallace and Gromit or to be, and you're like, it's just.
I think it's the first time I've ever messaged you as well. Went, Alex, do you want to jump on Wallace and Gromit? Look for the balls. Like I've never messaged you that. Never.
And I was even like, I had an expectation of what it was going to be like, and it surpassed all of those expectations and even more. And even like right at the end, and you were still getting surprised, and it was still adding more to it. And just as like Wallace and Gromit were kind of not following you around the house, but you did see them in different places. They were like they weren't just like they were in one place. They kind of came
as
with
you progress through the course, they were in different rooms of you, and they were doing different things throughout the house, which was nice.
It just felt like, it didn't feel like you were playing Walkabout Mini Golf. It felt like you were playing Wallace and Gromit Mini Golf. Like it did feel like it was its own thing, rather than just being. Whereas some of the other ones, like, oh, it's just another Walkabout course. It's very good. It's just what you expect from Mighty Coconut. They've done another great job. Whereas like this one is like, no, this is Wallace and Gromit Walkabout Mini Golf. This feels like, it feels more than just another course.
It was like when you said about attention to detail as well, like even the newspaper that Wallace is reading, and it has all these different golf puns on it and things like that as the headlines, and just even that was funny. So yeah, and then obviously we jumped into the hard course as well to try that out, and that's so like funny. I've never played a hard course on Walkabout Mini Golf. I usually play one match, and then I'm like, okay, cool. That's I've had my feel for golf now, and like we did the normal course, and straight away Alex was like, let's try out the hard course. I was like, yeah, let's do it. Like that right there should be an indicator that you need to pick up this course, is the fact that I've just jumped out of every situation he's put me into play this. I'm like, yeah, let's do it. To the point now I've even asked other people, do you want to go and walk about mini golf? So yeah, the hard course as well, that was just like it's just silly. Like, I love the way you had to find the golf club. Is it like that on every Walkabout Mini Golf?
Yeah, so you basically, they're all like that. So you do a fox hunt, which is more like a little treasure hunt. There's sometimes a different number of things, and they're all themed to the courses. So like they're all a little bit different, and different things that you need to find. Because I think like on Werewolf, it just gives you a map to basically try and identify what hole it's on. It doesn't like give you a clue. It kind of just shows you what it is, and you have to try and match that to the holes. But we were like, right, okay, where have we seen this? And we were like proper like sleuthing around the house to kind of find all the things you needed to find, and we did it. And one of them really stumped us, but we did it.
Yeah, there was a few that kind of made us go, where have I seen that kind of thing? And it was just, I don't know, the whole thing, it kind of fit with the setting really well, that you were building something, and obviously with Wallace and Gromit, they're always building stuff.
Yeah.
And it was just like having that kind of theme that I was like, I'm assisting Wallace and Gromit here. I'm building something, all while there's just mayhem happening in the house. Again, like I kind of don't want to go into detail of what the mayhem is on this one, because I think that shock value of when you load it up is just hilarious. It's great. So yeah.
And I think it's one of those, like, even then when you get the club itself is so Wallace and Gromit. Like every bit of it is like an invention you think that Wallace and Gromit would have made. And I don't think there's any way you're going to change that club ever, like, because that's the one you're going to use now, because it's your Wallace and Gromit club, unless they come and do another one or something even more special, which I think they'll struggle to. I always say this, I think they'll struggle to beat this, but they always just keep going and doing even better. Like they do magicians.
Yeah, they amp it up every time. But I think from your perspective, as someone who gets excited for every course, I genuinely don't know if I'll get as excited as I did for this course with another one they do. Like I just don't think that will happen.
Not Elvis, no.
No, see, I'm not excited for that. Like that doesn't hit the nostalgia for me. I say all the time, nostalgia is such a great emotion to have. It's a very strong emotion. So like anything that kind of sparks that is always something I'm going to want to check out. So yeah, I generally don't think they're going to do this again and have it so they're like, it goes like that for me. But I think maybe one day they'll do it again. But for now, I don't think they've got anything in the pipeline that they've announced. So I don't think that's got me going, ooh. So we'll see.
No, I don't think we know. I think other than Elvis, I don't think we know anything else that they're working on at the minute.
Yeah, that was the only one I know of. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd be interested if they did like a Simpsons one. I think that'd be quite funny. Like some more cartoon stuff that I watched growing up. Get Matt and Trey on. Let's see if we can get a South Park one as well. That'd be quite good. Let's do that. That'll make me really happy. But yeah, no, great job to them. Really great job.
Because I think the only other thing that we know that is coming is the Fraggles avatars? Is it Fraggle Rock avatars or something?
Yes, that's just the avatars. But again, I think that'd be a really good map. So
that doesn't mean you won't end up seeing that.
Yeah,
they might just not have announced it.
That is true.
But we'll see.
Yeah, let's move on.
So something else you've been having a lot of fun this week with is CleanSheet. So you've been playing this with friend of the show, James, making some funny little videos. But it's been good. We played it as well. So we played some of the multiplayer. I was very successful in those multiplayer games. I think my quest tells me that I've got 100% record, to be honest. So that feels about right.
Nah, that sounds completely inaccurate. I've been playing it quite a lot this week. I say quite a lot. It was 2 days broken up into 2-hour sessions. I say 2-hour sessions, probably 2 hours, maybe 3 hours in total. I've played it this week. I still love this game as much as I did when I first played it. It's got great gameplay loop that you can play for 30 minutes, come off it, and go back on it again if you want to. So the faults are still there. But obviously the Quest has one feature that PlayStation VR2 doesn't at the moment, and that's the multiplayer. And yeah, that was great. The multiplayer worked really well. We was playing some Goalie Wars. That's what me and you did. I did not keep a clean sheet. You absolutely destroyed me on that. I play in the clothes horse with my washing drying, but you always
had an excuse. There was excuses everywhere. It's like, that's where my clothes horse is.
Yeah, I sounded like that. So
I don't know what that accent was, but yeah.
No idea. Yeah. Well, definitely didn't sound like me, but yeah. I've been jumping on that with James. We've been doing some little video things, which I'm sure you'll be seeing on their channel, and some of them appearing here as well. So keep an eye out for that. But yeah, it was a lot of fun, and definitely one that I still recommend people check out.
Yes, one that we'll need to we'll need a wee rematch. I think just now that you've had a bit of practice, I think maybe we should stream that as well. That could be quite fun. But yes. Last thing we've been playing, we played this together, Reece, didn't we? We have been playing this together, is Windlands 2, which released this week for PSVR2. And we kind of hinted towards what we thought about it last week, but we couldn't say too much because it was just pre the embargo that our last episode released. But we had a good time with this, didn't we?
We were scared of what Callum would say. That's the real reason, wasn't it? No, it was because of the embargo. We stick heavily to those. We respect the developers' times and what they take, so we listen to the embargoes. We obviously could only speak very lightly on it, but yeah. So go on, what's your thoughts? You go first.
I mean, I really liked it. I think it looks really nice. It really hits you when you open it up, and it's nice and colourful, and it's a really nice art style. The enemies and stuff is the first appear when you're on that boat to begin with, and then you've got that thing coming out the water and stuff to start shooting and introducing mechanics. I thought it was really well done. The swinging is great, but I did get a little bit motion sick with it. But I'm saying I got a bit
frustrated.
No, I was a little bit frustrated as well, but that was more that she was in it, and I completely accept the fact that was me just being unable to do it for a fair bit. And I did I say I got motion sick. I got motion sick after it was over an hour. Like it was.
Yeah, we was playing. I say close to 2 hours. Close to 2 hours, definitely.
It was well into it, but I'm like, it's very good. I would highly recommend this game. I think the use of the features of the PSVR2, like the haptics in particular, I think the subtlety of the haptics when you're swinging, like particularly like in the controller itself, and as of that they've added in for more like to feel it on your headset as you're kind of going through as well. It's a very, very good port. I think we've seen a lot of ports from PSVR1 that you're just a bit like, well, they've not really used many of the features of PSVR2 here, but they've really gone back, and I think, so is it VR Monkey that did this port, wasn't it?
Yeah, VR Monkey.
VR Monkey have done a great
they're
job.
They're keeping themselves busy, aren't they?
Yeah.
Like everything they're pushing out with their ports, they're helping in with. Like they're doing a great job. So yeah, commend them a lot. Yeah, I mirror exactly what you said. I had a lot of fun with it. I think the freedom of movement in this game is something you don't really realize until you play it. Like from swinging across and then attacking a boss, like you swing across and slide across the floor and pull out your bow and arrow and just start shooting it. It just feels awesome. Like that feeling is just insane. So for me, that was great. The swinging, brilliant. Can't diss it in any way. Diss it? Why did I use that word? Anyway, but can't, it's not a negative. Like it's done so well. It feels so smooth. And obviously you was having some issues with it at first, and then there's me just swinging around and doing 360s as well. It was a lot of fun, just to kind of be silly with it as well.
Because I was having issues, as I said, but once you get into the flow of it, see when you hit maybe like 10, 11, 12 in a row that you're trying to hit and you're making it good speed, it feels great.
Yeah, it does, yeah. And obviously the collectibles as well were quite fun to find. We were scatting around for those, and sometimes I don't mind collectibles in VR games. Sometimes it annoys me when they kind of make that as like, this is all you got to do. But when it's kind of like there's collectibles and you can look around for them and find them as and when, and it wasn't kind of mission based or anything, I thought that was quite well done, and I liked that, and it made us want to keep looking around the map a bit more. And I think we kind of spent just as much time doing that as we did playing the game properly.
And it's well done in that way because you are like, you've got like I think it's 4 key areas, but you're going like back and forward, and like you're traversing them in different directions to do different parts of the mission. So although you are like retreading your steps and going back on yourself, like you're picking up some collectibles on the way, and you maybe spy some things. So it almost gives you a purpose of going back on yourself as well to keep an eye out for these things. Whereas if you're like without those, you maybe get a wee bit frustrated. Like I've spent all this time trying to go over here, now you're telling me I need to go back, and I need to go back again. And I think it's very good from that perspective to at least give it a bit more purpose when you're doing that.
There is definitely a lot of backtracking in the game, but I think that's kind of works well with it because of the movement. It's almost like when I play Spider-Man, like I don't mind swinging around the town, even though you can use fast travel. I don't use fast travel because I enjoy that mechanic of the game. And it's the exact same thing with this as well. So yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I'm looking forward to jumping back into it again with you.
Yeah, definitely one that gets the cross-button VR stamp of approval. I feel like it's been a wee while since we've given anything the stamp of approval. No, maybe only a few weeks, because definitely Spin Rhythm definitely got it, didn't it?
Spin Rhythm did. Sushi Ben.
Yeah.
The Street. No, I'm joking. The Street 10 didn't. No, there's been a few games that we've been really happy with. I'd even say Captain Toonhead gets the stamp of approval.
Actually, I forgot, but I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, you've been and jumped into that. Even that would get the stamp of approval. Like, there's a lot of great games that keep coming over. So when you keep hearing people say there's not enough games, it's not the case. There's just necessarily not the games you're looking for.
So but no, a lot of games to play and a lot of games to look forward to. That's it.
Definitely. That's it. Any more?
No, I think that's probably been. Have I played anything else this week? I don't think so.
Yeah, I know you wanted to speak a little bit about Thrasher. Come on.
I know. I was. Come on. Oh, yeah. Right, well, I wasn't going to speak about Thrasher, but since you brought it up, I will mention Thrasher.
I noticed it, and I wanted to speak about it as well.
All right, fair enough. So we'll quickly cover Thrasher. Okay.
Yeah.
Thrasher's been another one that's been a little bit divisive, I would say. I fall on the side of I like it. I really like it, but it lacks something. I'm not sure what it lacks, but it lacks something. It does have that hole it shares that DNA with Thumper, absolutely does. But Thumper, I always feel like you're a bit more in control. I feel like when you're just using your hands in this, it's a wee bit more difficult, not to control, but to kind of feel what you're doing. And I think for me, it's a lack of, this is a downside of hand tracking. I think because it's all hand tracked. If you're not using
use the controllers,
I think probably
I didn't try it with them.
I didn't try it with the controllers, but I think because it basically is designed for hand tracking because it's on the Apple Vision Pro as well. But I feel like it lacks anything when you're using your hands. You feel like you're using them, but you're missing some sort of feedback. You're missing like just something to make it feel like This is almost where Beer Haptics needs to come out and give you some hand track gloves so that they can give you some nice tingly feelings in your fingers as you're playing the games. But
you can get those with the wrist,
can
can't
you?
you? So yeah,
On the
you
wrist,
can.
yeah. So
yeah.
But I mean, the music's really good, the setting's really good, the gameplay's really good. It's missing something, and I can't quite put my finger on what it's missing.
I'm glad you said it's missing something, because I also thought about that too, and I sat and thought about it quite a bit of what it's missing. And this is one of the reasons why we speak about it and I genuinely think the thing that it's missing is the thump. Like, it's, like how Thumper just kind of feels really fast paced, and it's like, it just feels like there's a lot going on, even though there's not. It's a very simplistic game. Whereas this, it's kind of like I'm just going, moving my hand around and grabbing a thing, and I don't feel like there's this real big kind of thing coming towards me until you get to the boss, which feels a little bit cool, but at the same point, it wasn't. And I still, this is not me saying I don't like the game, because I did enjoy my time with it, and I thought the music was really good. But I do think Thumper had that kind of this just, I don't know, this excitement, this over the top something happening all the time with my eyes, and just kind of the way it worked. So I do think that's what is missing for me. It's missing the thump, in is the way I'm wording it, because there was just, I don't know, there's just, I think Thumper was quite special. So
no, I agree, because Thumper worked in and out of VR.
Exactly.
It was just such a well polished game in VR as well. I think, and just being able to, I feel like you could go and properly perfect those levels on Thumper. I don't think you could do that in Thrasher. It certainly doesn't feel like you can. I almost felt there was an element of luck in having your hands in the right places. I don't think there was as much skill involved in it.
So I know you said it's accurate, but with me, when it kind of went to the smaller circles, and you kind of you'd have it up one way, and you try to U-turn it, but it wouldn't U-turn properly, and I was like, oh, that would be so cool, and it didn't. So it's good, but it could be better, I think, is the best way I'm going to go with this one. I just think it needs a bit of that thump. It needs the thump.
It needs something.
The thump. Let's just call it the thump. Come on.
It needs the thump, and you need the thump for now making me end the show in a slightly more dour note. When I was trying to end it in a high note with Windlands 2, but it's slightly more dour. You brought it down a wee bit, Reece. Come on. But that is all we have time for this week. Thank you once again for joining us. Please do go along. Thank you to everyone who has subscribed to our new YouTube channel. We can't thank you enough for the support you're giving us. It's been a rough couple of weeks, a lot of hard work, particularly from Reece, to get everything moved across. So thank you for all the effort that you've done there. And thanks to everyone who's watched the videos, liked the videos, subscribed to the channel, and just kind of given us a little boost when we've needed it, to be honest.
Genuinely been mind-blowing. What was it, the first weekend, 100 subscribers, and then the following week, 200, and just, wow.
It'll take us a bit of time, but we'll get back to where we were, but thank you again, everyone, and just thank you for joining us once again, and we will see you next time. Until then, it is goodbye.
Bye.